Hey everybody, this is Jim the Tabletop Engineer. Welcome to a new playthrough video. Today I am playing 5 Leagues from the Borderlands. If you watched the last episode or two, I rolled up my characters or my heroes and their followers. I also determined like the enemies that I'll be facing in this land. Now, in between the last video and this one, I went out and I used a free online tool called Incarnate. I think that was it. I'll put a link in the video description below. And I made this region of land, which is where my campaign is going to take place. Now, I rolled up a lot of this in the last video, and you may not be able to see it, but over here, I'll be starting over here on this side. We have a town here called Dark Door. We have another village up here called North Station. Over here is a village called Copper Gate. Sorry for the glare. And then there's some bridges that allow you to cross and things like this. And there's some woods. There's a delve down here. Some unexplored areas. This map will evolve as the game progresses. I will discover other unexplored areas that I'll mark on the map. I will discover settlements and hideouts and things like that. So this is not the final map. This is just the beginning. Now, if you've never played this game before, I want to point out something very important. On page 90, if you have the book, on page 90 is this thing called Many Roads to Adventure. This is probably going to be one of your most consulted pages. I've flagged it here with a red one called Roads. And the reason being is this is a flow chart, and it will always help you sort of stay on target for what comes next. There are 4 stages of this game. There's actually 3, and a 4th could possibly happen. It may or may not. The first one is called the preparation stage. The second one is the adventuring stage, and the third one is resolution. And somewhere between adventuring and resolution, it is very possible you might have an encounter, which is when you do something on the map with miniatures, or sometimes it's just a travel encounter, like with a stranger. It could involve combat. It might not. You just don't know. But what's great about this map is, and you definitely should flag it, is it's got page numbers for where each of the stages is covered. And you'll begin in the prep stage. And it says page 75. Now, what's interesting is when you go to page 75 for the prep stage, you can read it, and you definitely should read it. But down here in a box, it says your first campaign turn, which that's what this is. It says, in the first turn, you are arriving in the region, and therefore do not begin the game in camp or in town. It's like I just got off a boat, right? Skip all of the prep stage, skip the entire preparation stage, and go to the adventuring stage to make a travel roll, page 111. Usually, you will want to head to a town in the first turn. All right, so here's what's interesting about this game. If you have your map, you can draw dotted lines to indicate like regions. Like, for instance, here is the Bleeding Desert. I could call that a region. The Faceless Kingdom Camp, I could make that a region. This mountain range could be a region. Town Dark Door could be a region. This empty area, totally empty, could be a region. I could theoretically make this entire section of this area one region. It's up to you to define what the regions are. Technically, you're kind of supposed to make it where there's like one major thing in each region. And then, of course, your map will grow, and some regions will have more things than one. But I'm starting over here. There is a mountain range. There is an unexplored area. There is a Faceless Kingdom Camp to the north. The nearest town is up here called Town Dark Door. I would have to go around the mountains and north of this lake to get there. But that is considered one travel roll. So I will go to page 111. Travel. When you go somewhere in the campaign world, you need to travel. This might mean tagging along with a trade caravan, following winding paths, or trying to find a destination with only an old, worn map. The game world exists as a series of map areas. I'm using the word region, but areas is the correct term. It says specific distances are not tracked. That's what I'm talking about. In one travel roll, I could travel quite far. I'm just picking from start to the town and I'm saying on this trek, this roll is going to determine what happens. So it says you roll on the travel event table. This will always be the case in your first campaign turn. So that's what I'm doing right now. Now it is a D100 roll, and I'm going to roll this. Blue is high, yellow is low. And I rolled a 20. Consulting the page, 0 to 30 is uneventful. Nothing happens. So I have arrived in town dark door. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to scoot this over, and now I'm in town. So I have arrived in town. I'm at dark door. And what are some of the things that could have happened? Well, I could have met someone. I could have discovered an unexplored region, which would just add something to my map for me to play with later. I could be waylaid by foes, which is where you generate a defensive battle. That's where it goes straight to the table, and we're going to have a miniature battle. Miserable weather. It forces me to camp. An obstacle. There's an obstacle table on the next page. Was it left at the second tree? You are lost, but have a travel encounter. So you would roll an individual that you meet. And then it says set up camp and roll to travel again on the next campaign turn. So basically, that's a turn. You have ended. So if you go back to the map, you did this, you did a travel, you jumped right to here, and without an encounter, you go to the resolution stage. And in the resolution stage isn't really going to be much because you're not going to collect adventure points because you didn't have a battle. You're not going to roll for loot or injuries or anything like that. And that concludes a turn. And then you'll go right back to the start. So because I'm in town, I'm still sort of, one of the options is when you explore a location, okay? So that's not it. There are some things I can do. I'm now in the adventuring stage, technically. But when I went into the adventuring stage, the first turn, it tells me to jump straight to travel. Travel, nothing happened, okay? So since nothing happened with no encounter, I'm at the resolution stage. So now we start a new turn. That is how fast this occurs. It says after resolving the travel roll, if you arrived at your destination, you may proceed to investigate any one location you choose in the map area. Proceed to the relevant part of the encounter section. So because I traveled, and it says after you resolve the travel, if you have arrived at your destination, which I did, now it's letting me go back up here and do an explore a location. That is interesting. Investigate one location you choose. Proceed to the relevant part of the encounter. Oh, well, I didn't have any encounters, so never mind. Possible travel events include. All right, so I'm done. So I'm in town, and now we have to go back up to the preparation stage again because it's the end of a turn. So I'm in town, so we're going to start a new turn. And now on turn number 2, that was fast, wasn't it? On turn number 1, I arrived. Now we're on turn number 2. Turn number 2. You are either in town or in camp. Well, I am in town. If you are currently in the same map area as any settlement, hamlet, village, or town, see page 68, 69. I am. And then it says, each step of this phase will include a number of campaign activities. So we come over here, and if you're in town, it says, if you were in the same map area, it's going to tell me if you're in town, you will roll there. I'm sorry, I'm trying to find it here. Each associated with a location. Okay, so going back to the map, I'm going to roll for a local event. And local event is on page 76. It is a D100. What did I do with my dice? I rolled a 50. 50 is renowned scholar. A scholar is passing through town with his retinue. If you take a study campaign activity this turn, you may add +2 to the rolls. So there are things you can do when you're in town. You can recruit a new member to your team. You can study. You can practice. There's a bunch, and they're on page 81. I can visit the blacksmith. I can forage. I can gamble. Well, actually, some of these I can only do in town, and some of them I can only do in camp. So foraging would be camp only. One of them is study, settlement, or camp. And if you go to the study description, which is on page 85, it says, make a 9+ scholar test. If you succeed, roll up a random skill. You may assign it to any character that does not have any current skills. So I'm going to go back to my heroes real quick. And all of my heroes have a skill. This one has speech. This one has speech, devotion, and scouting. This one has speech and battle-wise. And this one has speech and alchemy. So they've all got skills. So I'm not going to be doing any studying while I'm in town. But let's go back real quick to the phase. I just did a local roll. So I'm not going to do that. And again, I'm not going to do this in every video, but I want to show you how it works. Go back to your roadmap. And it says after local events, you do hard times. So you come over here to hard times, which is step number 2. So I'm going to write this out. Step number 1, there was a scholar encounter. And if you're going to keep a journal of your game, this is where you would fill out details like the name of the scholar and what their specialty is and things like that. You could almost tell a story with this book. Now with step 2, it says during this step, you manage the finances of your warband. So I have to pay upkeep costs. This is like what it costs to feed your crew and things like that. I have 6 gold marks. That's it. And it says if you have a warband of 1 to 6, which I do, I have 2 followers and 4 heroes, the upkeep is a D3. That is 1 mark. That's 2. If you roll a 2, it's really a 1. So I will go ahead and change that 6 to a 5. And I've paid my upkeep. Now, if you don't have enough money, there are conditions. There are things that happen. Your crew gets mad, and if they get mad for more than a couple turns, they become disgruntled. And if they get disgruntled, they might leave and things like that. All right, I don't need to do any healing. So now we're going to do step 3. So I paid minus one gold. And for number 3, I'm going to do a campaign activity. Here's where I was telling you those things that you can do. In addition to upkeep and healing, the warband can take 2 activities from the following. Now I'm in town, so I could go to the blacksmith. The blacksmith will repair a damaged weapon. I don't have any damaged weapons, so I'm not worried about that. We could, we could gamble. Not really going to mess with my money right now. We could do some hard work and earn some money. We could help the town guard, settlement only. Meet the locals. Pray, recruit, I don't want to recruit. Study, train, or visit the town healer. Right now, the good options are hard work, help the guard, and I could go on meet the locals. That's not a bad one. You know, you might meet a contact that can get you things down the line, or they might have information. There's all kinds of neat things that happen. The other one was that's it. It's between those 3, and I have to choose 2. So let me go look them up so you know what they are. Hard work sounds exactly what it is. You earn 1 gold mark in pay. Then you roll an 8+ crafting, and if you pass it, you get an extra gold mark. So this is going to get me between 1 and 2 gold. Help the guard. A night of breaking up drunken brawls and watching for wolves. This option is not available in hamlets. I am in a town right now. I think, or is it a village? Let me look. This was the town. I should have written that down. Okay. It says, so if you decide to help the guard, this option is not available. Your upkeep costs are offset this turn. So I would get that 1 gold back. And then meet a local. there's a table on page 84, and sometimes these are really good. And so I am going to do that. I'm going to do the meet the local and the hard work, and I'm not going to do help the guard. So for hard work, I get 1 credit, and let's do a crafting test. So what I can do is I can look to see, do any of my guys have crafting? I know they don't. They do not. The test is for, it's an 8 or higher. So you roll 2d6. And if you had crafting, you would add your crafting bonus, which is usually like +1. But none of my guys do it, so I'm looking for an 8 or higher. And I got a 5. So all I got was 1 credit, or 1 gold. And then under meet the locals, there is a table depending on whether you're in a hamlet, village, or town. I am in the town, so I'll be looking at this 3rd column. It's a D100. I rolled a 69. 69 is contract offer, okay? You discover the town has a problem. Roll up a contract. So I got a contract. Now, you don't have to take it, but you can. Page 100, and then decide if you want it. So let's go to page 100. Contracts. So first off, we roll to see what kind of contract it is. Sometimes it's like going out and killing a certain number of monsters. Sometimes it's running off a band of thieves. Sometimes it's going to a town to deliver something. I got a 48. 48 is rescue an individual. Rescue individual. Okay. Then, no, hold on. It says on a contract, you need to roll D100 twice. The first roll determines the source. The second is made of the contract type. So I already rolled the type. So let's roll the source. That is a 43. 43 is townsfolk. So the townsfolk want to hire me to rescue someone, and they're willing to pay D3 plus 1. Oh, 4 plus 4 gold if I do it. All right. So it says there are different contract types. So let's look up rescue. Rescue individual, page 102. Someone has gone missing. Whether they were lost or captured, you need to get them back. Location, add an unexplored location in the same map area as the closest settlement. So basically what that means is I will go to my map and I will draw, now I'm here at the town, so I'll just draw a circle here and I'll put unexplored. So it will take a travel roll, but it's in the same map area. So just 1. I think that's right. I don't think you have to travel. When you visit the location, you still have to travel to it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you do. This is going to be the contract. Okay, it says, when you visit the location, determine what you find normally. If you find a battle or a location that would create a battle, you will have to rescue the person during the battle. If it's a delve, they are always found at depth 1. So it could be an above ground battle. It could be a dungeon explorer called a delve. Place the captive in the center of the table. Until they are freed, they can take no actions and are ignored by the enemy. A warband member in contact may free the captive. From the following battle round onwards, the captive acts according to secondary character rules. During this rescue, they can be retreated off the battlefield safely, and no characters will have to roll on the flight in the dark. They will test normally if forced to retreat. If you hold the field, you may rescue them at your leisure. Hold the field means you're the last man standing. You kill all the enemies. If you are forced to retreat from the battle without freeing the captive, the contract fails. Success. Once rescued, you return to the location where you obtained the contract. If no opportunity for battle presents itself, then there is no trace of the missing person. So you have to battle to rescue them. If you don't roll up a battle, you don't find them. Time limit. You must visit this location within 2 campaign turns. So I have to do it either turn 2 or turn 3. Okay? So that is the job. So I chose hard work and I chose meet local. Now let's go back to the prep stage. I just did my campaign activities where I met the local and I did hard work. So let's go to, that was step number 3. So let's jump forward to step 4, which is trade. You can only do this in a settlement, like a town or a city or something like that. During this step, you can buy and sell equipment in any order you like. You can buy anything listed on the common table, which is on page 88. What I typically find is most things on the common table are way too expensive. Like a standard weapon costs $1, but a helmet costs $3. And camp gear costs $5. Rations are $3, but you get, I mean, it's just, everything is so expensive. When I played this a while back, that was one thing I found was that the getting gold was tricky. All right. That was step number 4, which is trade. It says items can be sold. Well, I don't really have anything to sell. And I'm not gonna, and it says you may roll once on the rare goods table. Let's go ahead and roll on the rare goods table because there might be something that's worth buying. Rare goods is right here. It's a D100. It is 71. 71 is a ranger's cloak for 6. I don't even have that much. I only have 5 gold to my name. Actually, I have 6. I could buy it, but not going to do it. All right. After step 5, you go to research. You may wish to do some preparation for the adventure ahead. Well, absolutely, I want to do that. I want to know about this unexplored area. During this step, you carry out a roll for connections, or you may attempt to track down a camp or hideout. So I'm going to try to do a connection. I'm not looking for a hideout at this time. So what I'm going to do is this is just asking if anyone knows anything. You may wish to do prep work for the adventures. During this step, okay, so let's roll for it. I rolled a 39, which is no result, nothing. So step 5 is a wash. What could I have gotten? Well, I could have found a friend that could give me adventure points. If you're in the same map area as a town, you may take the offer of a contract. I could get another contract. You may undertake a quest if I'd have rolled 91 to 100. Now, decide your adventure. Choose what you would like to do this campaign turn. Now remember, I could do a contract. Or I can explore a location, battle an enemy, ride patrol, carry out a contract. That's what that is. Rest up or do a quest. Well, I don't have a quest right now. When you have decided, complete step 7, outfit for the adventure, and then you move to the adventuring phase, which remember, we are currently in the preparation stage. So the next one will be the adventuring, and that's when I'll have a lot more options. So what do I want to do? Well, knowing that I could do this contract either this turn or next, what I'd really like to do, if you choose to ride patrol, you're going to probably get an encounter. If you do battle an enemy threat, you're going to get an encounter. Rest up, you stay in town and you heal up. And like for instance, if you ever come back to town and you're injured, you might find out that you're injured for 3 game turns. Well, resting would remove 1. So now you're coming back in 2 game turns. So what do I want to do? I think let's do the contract. I mean, that makes sense, right? Carry out the contract. And I've decided it. Now, outfitting, I have nothing other than my weapons and my armor. I do have some my wizard has some of those congealed strands. I think he has like 3 or something. I can't remember. But that is it. I am going to do the contract. I have outfitted my adventure, and it tells me next, go to the adventuring stage. So I'm going to end this video here. I try to keep these under 30 minutes. And because this isn't an actual battle, I will probably upload the next video along with this one. We'll see how long it takes. In the next video, I am actually going to go to the adventuring stage, which I'm going to turn to the area called carry out a contract. And it will tell me the steps to generate the battle or find out where I'm going to go. It will require travel. It says this option is only available if a contract has been offered. Proceed to the contracts chapter. This may require travel. Now, how do I know it requires travel? Because it said that the contract is in the same. Let me see, where was it? Contract. That was under, when I rolled for contract offer, it was page 100. So on page 100, it said, Rescue. It was under rescue. Here it was. It says it's at an unexplored location to the same map area as the closest settlement. So it's in the same area, but I'm pretty sure, and I will look it up, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to have to make a travel roll because even though I'm moving in the same region, it's not like it's automatic. But I will find that out for sure before the next video, and I will let you know. All right, that's all I got. This is Jim the Tabletop Engineer. I will be back in a week with the next episode, possibly the next episode right after this one, and then a week, but we'll see. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see everybody in a week. Everybody, take care.
Check out the new RPG and Wargame newsletter. Each week, the Tabletop Engineer shares news, products, Kickstarters, and much more related to the gaming hobby. It's free to subscribe, so check out the link in the video description below to sign up.